Hello, happy Friday, everybody. My name is KJ Hamus, and I'm so excited to be here with you for our Slow Flow plus Yin this Friday. Over here to my right is my beautiful assistant, Maxine Hillman. She will be assisting me likely from here on out as long as we continue to do these classes because my belly is growing very big and I cannot do certain things. So Max has graciously volunteered to be my assistant. She also lives with me, so she might not have had a choice. With that said, as we get started, there will be points where I do put my hands on Max, not to adjust her, but just to show some things. She has given me permission to do so. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows that. With that said, for our practice today, we're going to be coming back to our chakras series. We took a week off last week to focus on the new moon and the new cycle and setting our intentions for that. So we're back working on our third chakra, our Manipura chakra, which is our solar plexus, and it's located above the belly button. This is the seat of our internal fire and is most related to our self-confidence, our personal strength, and personal energy as we move about the world. So we'll be doing things today in our asana practice to help open up that, which will include a light bit of core and work on our spine. So we're going to get started in a restorative child's pose. So you can use your blocks or just your pillow or your bolster. If you've got just a bolster, you likely may not need the blocks, but it's 100% up to you. And we'll place our two blocks, one right next to each other, and then we'll place our pillow on top of that. You want your chest and your shoulders on your pillow, on your bolster. You can use multiple pillows, multiple bolsters. If you don't have any of those props, that's fine. Come into a child's pose. Find what feels best for you and bring your knees as wide as feels comfortable. One cheek can be to the mat. Arms can be resting right up by the head or even down by the sides. And so as you start to settle in here, coming into your shape, I will invite the bell to bring us into our practice. As we start to settle in here, begin to orient ourselves in space and time. The space being here and the time being now. So letting these moments that are to come be the moments that we are fully in. We take time to acknowledge and honor the stewards of the land before us. So here in Washington, D.C., we are in Anacostan land. We are also near Petoskaway land. To move into the deeper portions of our practice on our mat, we are reminded that yoga is an ancient practice from the subcontinent of India. So we honor the first and early practitioners of this practice and the indigenous teachers today who continue to teach us about yoga. As you begin to turn your senses inward, draw your focus to your breath. Becoming aware of the gentle rise of the inhale and the gentle fall of the exhale. Noticing how your breath is traveling in your body. Not only how it's traveling, but how it's interacting. So where does your breath start and stop? Where does your breath flow easily? Where does it feel more restricted? And start to broaden your awareness, feeling the weight of your body on the mat, noticing the temperature in the room and how that feels on your skin, while also observing which tensions and restrictions you're bringing into your practice on a physical level. So as always with these observations, there's no right or wrong answer. There's no right way to feel. There's no way you have to feel. All that matters is what you're feeling in your body. And in this particular shape, I invite you to notice the sensations around your spine. So is there a way with your breath, with the support of your props, or even in your child's pose of your sans props, that you can feel the spine start to release? You know, we'll be activating and working with the spine and the core. How can we let go right now and hold on to that as we move forward? As you're ready, start to bring your focus to your heart space, checking in with your emotions. As I mentioned at the beginning, our Manipura chakra is the seat of our self-esteem, confidence. It's where we draw our ability to keep moving forward even though we may have stumbled. There might be outside forces starting to crash in. But as we notice the emotions we're bringing with us, can you be open to the sensation, to the feeling of, I can? It can have many different meanings. Start to notice how that can affect what you're bringing with you onto your mat. And then as you're ready, your focus to the space between your eyes, observing your thoughts, checking in with your mind. How are you feeling today mentally? Are there a lot of thoughts? Is it fast-paced? Is everything grappling for your attention? You're able to start to move into a slow and steady rhythm of thoughts, taking the rest of this time off. It's not to say they'll all go away. Can you begin to soften the mind? As you move throughout your practice, keep an inner ear on the sensations that arise in your body, adjusting for these sensations to help meet yourself where you're at this evening so you can find nourishment in your practice. Drawing your focus back to your breath. Taking a slow, steady breath in, and a slow, steady breath out. Starting to breathe into your internal fire, just above your belly button. Using your breath to ignite this fire in a way that feels safe for you. And setting your intention for your practice. If you're working with an intention, use that. If one doesn't come to mind, I offer up the intention of I can. Whichever intention or sankalpa you choose for this evening, repeat it to yourself 3 times. Start to feel it center and check into your body. And then as you're ready, on your next inhale, slowly begin to rise onto your knees. You can place a block underneath your seat if you'd like to sit on a block underneath your seat. Still one of the blocks. We're going to come into our pranayama exercise. So what's really important to note about our Manipura chakra too is that one of the physical energetic channels is our diaphragm. So pranayama can help us open up this chakra. We'll take our alternate nostril breathing this evening. So taking your right hand, place your right thumb gently on your nose, and then your ring finger on the opposite side. These fingers can rest on the forehead. These fingers can rest down, just hang out. It's really up to you. Blocking off your right nostril, take a breath in through your left. And then block off your left nostril and breathe out through your right. And breathing in through your right nostril. As feels comfortable for you, block off your right nostril and breathe out through your left. That is one full cycle. So continue with this breath. Not only are we igniting our internal fire by having this breath be a deep diaphragmatic breath, especially feeling the expansion in your ribs, we're also balancing the flow of energy in and out of our nostrils. So interesting fact is that we breathe in one nostril 90 minutes at a time. So you may notice that one feels a little bit closed off versus the other. That could be due to allergies, sinuses, anything like that. But if you're feeling fine, that could be why. So we're just balancing that out. Continuing to breathe here. Letting your length of your inhale match the length of your exhale. Take about another 45 seconds with this breath. Slow and steady. Beginning to finish out the cycle that you're on. So if you just started a cycle, complete the full cycle. As you're ready, release your hands down to your knees. Take a moment to just breathe in and out through both nostrils, observing how you feel. Noticing what you might need as you move forward. And so we're going to start by opening up our cervical spine, so a spot in our neck. Bring your hands across your body. This is going to help us just not involve the rest of the body. We only want to focus on the neck. So take a deep breath in. As you exhale, draw your chin to your chest. On your breath, begin to scrape the chin across your collarbone, almost as if you're finding a lateral stretch right ear to right shoulder. And as you're ready, twist and look at your back pocket. Bring your neck up and around. And then find your left back pocket for a twist. Left ear comes to left shoulder. And then scrape the chin across the collarbone and come back down. Keep moving here. So we'll go back to the right. Notice how Max is not involving her back. Just keeping everything nice and steady. It can be really easy to get like the whole back involved. Like, I've got such great range of motion in my neck. Pause for a moment. So you might not go this far. That's okay. You don't have to. And don't worry about getting each movement exact. Find the flow in your cervical spine. After this last round, and the next time your chin comes back down to center, we're going to take it to the left. Same action here. So really working with our joints in the spine. Remember that our spine starts in our neck. So we could be getting a bit into our throat chakra as well, which is fantastic. But the spine really plays a role. So finishing up here on your last full cycle. Letting your chin come back to center as you're ready, releasing your hands down. Shaking it out, maybe gently drawing your neck from side to side. We'll begin to roll over our shins, making your way to a neutral tabletop shape. Have your curls curled under here, toes curled under, I don't know how to speak. And feel free to place a blanket or towel underneath your knees, depending on the floor that you're on. Protect your knees. What do you need? And begin to take your cat-cows. So as you inhale, dropping your belly, lifting your gaze, shoulders back. And then as you exhale, round the back, dome it in. Keep moving here. And just notice how the spine is moving right now. How is it feeling? Are there parts as you move that seem to be a bit more stuck or going at a different pace or just being bypassed? Take 2 more full rounds of your cat-cow. We'll meet back in your neutral tabletop shape as you're ready. So finding your neutral spine when you're ready, just noticing how you feel here. We're going to take our time with the next 3 rounds of cat and cow to segment the spine. So starting on your inhale, feel the movement from your hips as it walks its way up through your thoracic spine, your mid-back. Shoulders come, then your neck. You'll start then from the cervical spine, neck drops, shoulders round. As you slowly move back down with your hips, and the last thing to tuck under. Beautiful. Keep moving here. Again, don't worry about perfecting anything. We're not mastering anything. Take your time. Notice how the movement changes. I'm trying too hard not to put full fingers on Max right now, letting her do the movement as she needs to. Also, my hands are cold, so I'm sure that doesn't feel fantastic. Keep breathing here. Remember, as we move through this, we can come back to our affirmation, I can. And that doesn't mean that you have to hold everything and do everything exactly as I say. The I can be like, I can do something else because I am the authority in my body. And that is so welcome. After you've completed all 3 rounds, or if you want to do more, feel free to come back into your neutral tabletop shape. Just notice how your spine feels. What movements you may feel, what energy movements you may feel. Keeping your toes curled under, come on down to your forearms. We're going to do the same segmented cat-cow movement, but this time down on our forearms. So as you inhale, starting from the back, working our way, and then lifting up. And then head down, shoulders round from here. Take 3 full rounds just like that. Nice and slow, nice and steady. After you complete your 3 rounds, sit back into a child's pose. Take time to observe how you feel. Notice the sensations in your body. What's happening along your spine? In particular, it's happening along all of the muscles along your spine. Take 3 to 5 deep, full breaths in and full breaths out. I know you all are doing awesome. Because you came, you showed up. You're giving yourself what you need. Let's take one more breath in here and breath out. On your next inhale, pull yourself back up into your neutral tabletop shape. Curl your toes under. Take a deep inhale and lift your knees to hover off your mat. Beautiful. Nice neutral flat spine. You're going to engage your core. Think belly button toward the spine without sucking it in. So transverse abdominals, your ribs all come in together. You've got this. You can. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower down. Pause here for 2 breaths. Tonight when we're taking our core exercises, yes, does it influence our core muscles? It does. But the point is, the main point is to fire up our internal chakra, our Manipura chakra, find the fire. All right, on your next inhale, lift up your knees. Breathe here. As you're ready, I want you to lift your hips just up and then draw the knees back down to hover. You decide. You might not go more than an inch. That's fantastic. Let's take it here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower back down. Beautiful. Come into a child's pose. Find your breath. And as you breathe, draw your focus to our 3rd chakra above our belly button. The chakras are energy channels. They're central energy channels. Do you feel fire in your belly? How are you feeling emotionally and mentally? Take care of those things as we continue to move. As you're ready, come back into your tabletop shape. On an inhale, send your right leg nice and long behind you. Toes point down to the earth. You may consider adjusting your center of gravity to draw right hip down. Stay here or extend left arm out nice and long. Palm face forward. Take one more breath in. And exhale, set it down. On your next inhale, extend left leg nice and long. Toes point down to the earth. Breathe. Again, where's your center of gravity? If you're putting a bit more weight into this side to balance out, and you place a little bit more weight into the opposite hand. Stay here or extend right arm. Palm face forward. You've got this. Breathe. Keep core engaged and transverse abdominals come together on your exhale. Take one more breath in. Exhale. Bring it down. So option to stay with those movements, the balancing tabletop, knees on the ground. Option to come into this next movement. Inhale, lift your knees up. You can take a look at this movement and decide, no thank you. Stay here. Your next inhale, lift up left knee, left foot, excuse me. Lifting up. Try and keep your knee bent. Stay, other foot, and then bring it down. Knees still hover. When you're ready, right leg lifts, right knee lifts. Bend knee. There we go. You got this. I'm giving you cues. You're going with it. You're doing fantastic and you're beautiful. Go ahead and bring your feet down. Keep your knees hovering. Again, you can still take the tabletop with your knees on the ground. Next option. Hover up your left knee. Bring up right hand. You don't have to do it. You can be like, nope, she's crazy. And then go ahead and set it down. Try your other side. So balancing core, all the things. And then go ahead and come on down, take a child's pose. Awesome. Max is a really beautiful sport, so I thank her. I thank all of you for going with us on that. But take a deep breath in. And a deep, slow breath out. Remember, I can doesn't mean you have to do everything I guide you through. I can be like, no, thank you. I can say that. Let's take a breath in, breath out. Inhale, start to curl your toes under, and exhale, downward facing dog. Take what you need in your downward facing dog. What is your body naturally calling for right now? Is that movement? Is it stillness? Think neck nice and long. You might shake your head, yes. Shake the head, no. Let something go. As you start to find your stillness, look for length in your spine. Okay, so we want that nice long length, and that's going to be different. If you find your shoulders are really hunching up, and because there's a lot of tension in your neck and your cervical spine, you may consider widening your hands and then turning your fingertips out just ever so slightly to encourage a more natural rotation. Again, explore that. If that doesn't work for you, don't do it. Think about pressing your thighs to the back of your room. And opening up the length of the back side of your leg. Awesome. Let's take 2 more breaths here. On your next inhale, look in between your hands and slowly walk your feet up to find a forward fold. Bend your knees as much as they want to be bent right now. Rock back and forth in your feet, side to side in your feet, just to notice. Notice where your center of gravity is at. Notice what you need here. Let your spine round if that's what it calls for. And then as you're ready, begin to find stillness. You can use blocks here if you'd like to place blocks underneath your hands. You can reach for opposite elbows if you'd like. Hands can rest on the thighs. If it calls, feel free to move back and forth. Think about lengthening from your spine. So consider shifting a bit more weight into the balls of your feet so the stretch can happen from hinging with the hips. Yeah. Take 2 more breaths here. We are compressing our diaphragm in this shape, and that is going to make the diaphragm work a little bit harder, building the strength in the muscle. Breathe into that, a deep breath, but also breathing into the spot above the belly button. And take 1 more breath in, breath out. Slowly, just as we segmented in our cat-cows, we're going to move our spine in those segments. As you inhale, begin to walk and roll your spine back up. Letting your shoulders drop down the back, head last thing to step, coming into mountain pose. Now I'm going to ask Max to turn to face the camera. right here. We're gonna do some spine carves. So just what we did with the neck, we're gonna do with the spine. Important thing to keep in mind, one, ground through your feet. Really plant to the earth. So feet might be hips width distance, they might be a little bit wider. Hips are gonna stay straight forward and steady because our hips and our back like to work together. And right now we just want them to take a little break from each other, go to their separate corners, if you will. Bringing your arms back up across. If you feel open to it, consider placing the opposite arm on top. So if you always go right over left, switch it up. If that's too weird right now, and you're like, I'm not going to be able to do this next thing, just keep it normal. So same thing we did with our cars and our neck, we're going to do with just the spine. So as you inhale, you're going to start to lean your body forward. And then you're going to come over and take a lateral stretch here. Back, lateral stretch. Ooh, with a twist, this is my bad. Twist, then lateral stretch, and then come forward. We'll demonstrate that again. So lateral stretch, twist, and then open it back up. We're still figuring out how this whole modeling thing should work. So keep working and keep your hips nice and stable so you might not go as far. Beautiful. Nice job. Take 3 full rounds. And then you'll switch directions. So this is just getting into our mid, into our low back. Thinking about our spine and all of the muscles along our spine. Spinal erector that want to open, that could use some length. Again, these physical elements we're working on are the physical energy channels of this chakra. Beautiful. After you've taken 3 rounds on both sides, no rush to get there. Come on back to your mountain pose. Let your arms release. Pause here. Take what movement you need. Back, my friend. Thank you kindly. And breathe, finding your mountain pose, feeling nice and tall. You take our standing shape and we've hopefully started to open up our spine and open up this chakra. We invite you to breathe into that space one more time, into your Manipura chakra. You are fire. You can. Take one more breath in here. And breath out. As you inhale, reach your arms nice and long overhead. As you exhale, hinge and fold forward. Inhale, find a flat back. As you exhale, step left foot back, low runner's lunge. Left hand stays planted. Inhale, right arm reaches up to the sky. So keeping your front thigh rotating, open. Always the option to drop your back knee. Beautiful. Always the option to come onto a fist or to bring a block to your other hand. This is a demonstration. So finding the twist in your spine. Gaze can come up or gaze can stay down, depending on how this feels. Even if your gaze is down, try not to let your neck drop. So not let it drop to the ground. We want all these cervical muscles in the neck to stay low. Beautiful. Take one more breath in. Breath out. Inhale, frame your front foot. If back knee is dropped, lift it up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Noticing your spine in this shape. Breathing here. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. Option to pause here, option to draw your knees down to the ground. Take a breath in. And exhale, lower all the way down to the earth. So we're going to keep our hands right where they're at, feet hips width distance apart, forehead on the mat. We're going to work into Shalabhasana progression, focusing on the muscles now in the back, our spinal erector. So as you inhale, lifting just the upper body, come into a baby cobra. Think lightness in your fingertips. Breath in. Exhale, slowly lower. Really press the tops of your feet into the earth. Inhale, lift up. Just your upper body. Use your back muscles. Exhale, lower. Keep your neck in line with the rest of the spine. One more. Inhale, lift. Nice. And exhale, lower. Go ahead and release your arms by your side. Draw one cheek to the mat. Windshield wiper your feet, if that is what calls to you here. So you can keep your arms long by your sides, or you can bring your hands to a pillow and draw your forehead to your hands. We're going to focus now on the lower half of the back, the lower half of the body. As you inhale, lift right leg up. Just your right leg. Thigh can hover off the ground. Breath in. Exhale, slowly lower. Let's take that twice more just on your right side. Inhale, lift. Hold and breathe. Press left top of foot into the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2. Slowly lower. Last time. Inhale, lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower down. We'll move on to the other side. As you inhale, lift up. You might notice different ranges of motion between the two sides. That's okay. Breathe here. Take one more breath in. Exhale, lower it back down. Inhale, lift. Beautiful. 5, 4, 3, 2, and slowly lower. Last time this side. Inhale, lift up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and let it go. Windshield wiper your feet. Rock from side to side. Take what you need here. Option to come into child's pose. Option to come into downward facing dog. We all will meet in downward facing dog at some point, but take child's pose. Take rest if that's what your body is calling for. If that's what you need mentally and emotionally as well. Breathing. Stay in child's pose as long as you'd like. If you're ready, start to make your way back to downward facing dog. And take 2 breaths. On an inhale, float your right leg to the sky. As you exhale, right foot steps in between your hands. Left hand stays planted. Inhale, right arm reaches up. Option for leg to stay lifted. Option for knee to drop. Head can look up. Head can look down as long as you find length in your neck. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, step left foot up to meet the right, forward fold. Segmenting your spine. On your next breath, slowly start to roll up. Knees stay bent. Last thing to straighten. Head is your last thing to stack. Mountain pose. Sitting up nice and tall. Take 2 breaths here. Feel fire in your belly. Come back to your intention. Come back to your affirmation. I can. As you're ready, inhale, reach arms long overhead. Exhale, bow low. Inhale, lengthen the crown of head forward as you reach tailbone back. Exhale, right foot steps back, low runner's lunge. Right hand plants, inhale, left arm reaches up. Same options that were on the other side are available here. Dropping your knee. Gaze can come up, Gaze can go down, long neck. Black can always come under your right hand. Take 2 more breaths. On your next inhale, frame your front foot, lift back knee up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. Knees, option to come down to the ground. On your next exhale, slowly lower all the way down to the earth. So we're going to combine those movements that we separated the last time on this side, coming into full Shalabhasana. Arms can stay by the sides, out long. Arms can come in front. On your next inhale, lift up your chest, lift up your thighs. Find your breath. So notice feet hips width distance apart. They are still squeezing toward the midline, but we're focusing on all of our back muscles. Take 1 more breath in. Slowly, as you exhale, lower down. Forehead comes to mat. 2 more. Inhale, lift up. Use your breath here to help with the lift. As you inhale, feel your lungs expand and ribs expand, lifting you up. And as you're ready, on your exhale, slowly lower. So it's not about getting a ton of height. Everybody's spine is going to be different. It's about working with your body. Last time, you got this. Inhale, breathe here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower. Go ahead and draw one cheek to the mat. Windshield wiper your feet. Child's pose if that calls to you. If you've got one cheek to the mat, do make sure you switch it before you go to child's pose just to even things out. We'll all meet in a child's pose. We'll take 3 breaths there. Feel the length in your spine. Find your breath. And then as you're ready, move into downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. On your next inhale, after your 2 breaths, extend left leg to the sky. On your exhale, step your left foot in between your hands. Right hand stays planted. Inhale, left arm, reach up. Simple twist. Always the option to drop your back knee, place the block underneath your hand. Find your length and twist from your mid back. Inhale. Exhale. Foot comes up to meet the left. And we'll come into our first yin shape. We're going to come into dangling pose. So bring your feet hips width distance apart or wider. Bend your knees as much as you would like. So we're working into the spine. And we're working to release the ligaments and the fascia along the spine. You may feel it very heavily in your hamstrings, in your calves. You're very welcome. That's where you're feeling the tightest. Sometimes it can be hard to release things in the upper body if our lower body is tight and vice versa. Everything is connected. Stay here. Hands can come to blocks. You can reach for opposite elbows. Opposite elbows and place the opposite elbows on your thighs, resting here. Close your eyes. We'll be here for 3 minutes total. Let your head hang nice and heavy. How is your breath influencing the rest of the shape in your body? And working our diaphragmatic muscle. So taking deep, slow breaths in and deep, slow breaths out as you slowly and steadily breathe into your Manipura chakra. As you breathe in, I can. As you breathe out, I can. If you're working with a different mantra or affirmation, always feel free to take that. That is welcome in this space. Take a full breath in, full breath out. With your breath, slowly take your time and roll up. You've been folding forward for a bit, so going a little slower may be beneficial because you don't want that head rush that drops you right back down. As you come into your mountain pose, take any movements that call to you. We'll take a standing puddle pose. So finding rest in this standing position. What do you notice? How do you feel? Rest is so important. You can take it in so many different fashions. I do prefer to generally take it on the ground, but we're going to take it here too. So we can start to bring more rest in throughout our day. As you're ready, slowly begin to make your way back down to the ground and onto your belly. You got a doorway in that. We're going to come into Sphinx pose next. So legs will be out nice and long. You can always place a blanket underneath your knees, underneath your thighs. Arms will come to an 11. Think about shining your heart forward, but we're working into the lower part of our back, into the lower part of our spine. If you have any challenges with the lower part of your spine, come into a child's pose. Take that. Come into the first shape that we originally took, our restorative child's pose. It's a great space to be in. If you're staying here, you can stay lifted like this, or you can place a pillow or a bolster underneath your chest, or a block underneath your chest to help keep your heart lifted, to find a bit more stability in your shoulders. Head can stay lifted or the head can drop. If the head does drop, try not to let the chest drop. You'll notice Max has a block to help support her head so she can still stay lifted at the back. Depending on, again, how your back feels, you might move the elbows out in front of the body a bit more to lower the chest to the ground, that takes some of the pressure off the spine. Or if you'd like a little bit more, you can really bring them back or even straighten your arms slightly to find a deeper stretch even along the front side of your body. We will be taking that deeper stretch in the last minute of the shape, but if you'd like it now, please feel free to take it. We'll be here for 4 full minutes. So as you settle in, and as we move into more stillness, into more rest in our bodies, even in the shapes, feel as if the breath starts to become effortless. If it actually starts to ramp up, you may come out of the shape and take something else to invite it to slow down. You breathe in and breathe out. You can think breathing in, breathing out, inhale or exhale, or your affirmation, I can. You can, whatever that means to you. Let this shape, let those words, again, really ignite the fire inside. So as we move into the last minute of this shape, you have the option to stay right here. I'm just going to have Max demonstrate this so she has full authority to do it after she needs to, or you can begin to straighten your arms, feeling a bit more of a stretch along the front side of the belly. So those are the two options. This is called seal pose. We were in Sphinx pose. Again, take what serves you best. Take what you need. We've got about 30 more seconds. Don't focus on the time though. Focus on your breath. We get so caught up in time that we start to rush. I'm guilty of this. Keep breathing. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, slowly lower down. Placing any props gently off to the side. Arms can come up nice and long, or you can use your hands as a pillow. And we take puddle pose. How can you make yourself 5 to 10% more comfortable? But more importantly, I want you to ask yourself, what do you need right now? What can you do to nourish yourself in this moment? Or feelings that are coming up, maybe that is what you need right now, is to step a toe in the water. From here, take a breath in and breath out. As you're ready, we move into a tabletop shape once again. No more core, promise. We're going to come into puppy pose. So feel free to come in, again, to a child's pose if that's what you need. If you'd like to take puppy pose, this might be a great place, to take movement. If you're like, I was just still and I got to move some energy around, do that. This also might be an excellent place to put a blanket or towel, next, underneath your knees. It's not perfect, it's still a little fluffy, but that's all right. So you'll begin from this shape to walk your arms out in front of you, thinking about bringing your heart to the ground. So you'll take a curve in the back, and the focus of this is going to be into the upper part of the spine. Now, if your heart is not feeling pulled completely to the ground, that's okay. That's fine. Again, some of it's going to be how you're feeling emotionally. Some of it's going to be how your spine and all the joints of your spine work. If that is beginning to describe you in any way, place your bolster, your pillow, underneath your heart to bring the ground closer to you. It can also be a great tool just to soften. You're like, I don't want to go all the way down. That's not what I need right now. I need a fluffy pillow underneath me because that's what feels awesome. If it feels okay, close your eyes. Or find a soft point for your gaze. And breathe here. How can this shape support you? The other way around. Shapes work for us. Depending on the amount of tension you're feeling in the body, don't ignore it if it turns into pain. You want to come out of anything that turns into pain and maybe readjust, or just if you're like, I want to readjust, come into something different. But if it's discomfort, work through discomfort with our breath. Holding on to that discomfort in one space, and then noticing a space in our body that has the least amount of sensation in it. This is a technique my teacher, Abigail Smith, has taught me. But focusing on that part of the body that has the least amount of tension. It can be a pinky toe, it can be a pinky finger, it can be the eyebrows. Can those two things hold space? Can it allow the breath to flow easily? Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Slowly begin to find your way through movement if that calls to you. Maybe some just regular old cat-cows. Maybe some gentle wiggles. You come into a child's pose. Use your child's pose as your puddle pose. If you've got a pillow, yeah, keep that underneath your chest. I love a good pillow, so I fully support that option. You can always come onto your belly too if you prefer that. Even onto your back. That's what you need. This is about what you need. And then slowly, wherever you're at, begin to find your way onto your back. Our final shape this evening is just going to be some supine twists. So coming onto your back, when you're ready, you can be like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to come into early Shavasana. Excellent. Invite your knees into your chest. Then drop your knees over to your left. Gaze to your right. So a couple of options here, just depending on what's happening in your body. 1, a sweater, if you're cold. Yin tends to cool down the body. 2, you can place a block or a bolster underneath your knees to bring the ground closer to you, or just so you don't have to feel like you're doing that much work. You can even place a block in between your legs. Same thing, if your shoulder, we're not touching the ground, 1 second, pretend. You can place something underneath here, a pillow, a blanket, to help, again, bring the ground closer to you. Arms can be out long, arms can be cactus. But finding your breath. Remember, even as we breathe, that is helping us open up and spread the energy of the chakra. As you move into even more stillness in this shape, more rest, more letting go, you begin to visualize fire in your belly. Your fire. It can be very small right now, it can be very big. I know there's a color associated with this chakra, but what is your color? Is it blue? Is it green? Is it purple? Let your fire be what it needs to be. Your next inhale, as you're ready, invite your knees into your chest. And drop your knees over to the opposite side. Gaze in the opposite direction. Move your props along with you. Each side can be very different. So you might add props, you might take away props. Find your breath here. How can you release into the shape? As you're ready, invite your knees into your chest. Take any final movements that you may need before you come into your Savasana, final resting pose. Blocks can come underneath the legs. Pillow can come underneath the legs. Pillow can come over the head. You can always place your pillow or your blanket on top of your chest if you'd like a bit more weight on the body, on your body. Excuse me. Wherever you're at, find what you need. Let everything go. Feel the ground support you and hold you up. Let your fire spread throughout your body. Start to reawaken your senses, inviting in some gentle movement to the body. Feel free to stay here if that's what you need. As you're ready, slowly, mindfully, gently, into transition to a comfortable seat. As you find your comfortable seat, pause for a moment. Check in with yourself. Notice how you're feeling. Hands can be on your knees, hands can face up, or you can come into Dhyana Mudra, one hand on resting on top of the other, thumbs touching. As you call back to mind your intention, affirmation, or mantra for this practice, I leave you with one question. What is your power? How can you invite in your power and your fire throughout your day? And we'll lift our hands to our heart space, bowing head to hands in a moment of gratitude, thanking ourselves for making time for our mat, and silently thanking those who joined us tonight to create this virtual community in this virtual space. Be the positive change you wish to see in the world. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Thank you to Max for being our lovely, lovely demonstrator. We will likely see her in the weeks to come as her schedule allows, as she feels up to it. But I'm very grateful for her and for her willingness to do this. And thank you for you all. I love being here with everybody on Friday nights. If you take my Sunday evening yin practice, this Sunday will be canceled as there is a prior engagement that I must attend. So with that said, have a fantastic Friday night and a great weekend. Thank you again.